never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now's the future.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Larkin, and as always, I am joined by my cohorts, the one, the only RW Ted Deadman, Mr. Paul Morales, and of course, the one, the only Mr. DC Daniel Crimmins. Gentlemen, what a week of professional wrestling.
Yeah, the RWT Ted man. I heard what you said. I heard the Freudian slip. But you know what? I'm gonna let it slide today because I'm in a good mood.
My bad. RWT Deadman. I know it slipped. My apologies.
The Ted man of RWT.
Yeah, the hype man.
My bad. Anyway, the RWT Deadman, Daniel Crimmins. My apologies. So moving on from my Freudian slip.
I'm not the RWT Deadman.
I know, right? Look, man.
You called me the RWT Deadman? Like
I said, RWT Deadman and my man DC.
No.
Man, that's it.
Let's just go. Let's just go.
Don't be fucking with me now. I know what I said that time, you sons of bitches. So anyway, moving on.
I'll
pay you fuckers. So we'll start with the I'll pay you, the AEW side of things. Get it out of the way. So we had Revolution. We'll get to him. AEW Revolution. I have to say this. The show was good until the main event because I did watch it. And we'll say this first and foremost, Tony Storm and Mariah May, why that was not the main event. And what we got was the main event with the Hollywood ending and the end. And these two with glass and the blood and their friggin', the Crimson Mask, everything just from thumbtacks and glass and pile drivers through tables. These women went all out. And it pisses me the F off that this is not the main event because that match was so good.
Even the steel cage match was incredible. When you think of a steel cage match, you want blood, you want violence, you want... It told a great story, and it was violent.
Right. I mean, and these are the cap-offs of both respective feuds. I mean, Ospreay doing the Spanish fly off the freaking cage was nuts. Like, just the whole thing.
Literally, any of the matches would have been fine.
Right.
But what we got a match that realistically would have main evented a Monday Night Raw or a Dynamite, literally anything. But that is what you have as the finish for your... And for folks, those of you that didn't, Mike, if you don't mind me taking the... So, Cope, Edge. I'm not calling them that bullshit.
Cope?
We had Edge and Mox, which, it was what it was.
You should have said Dean Ambrose. I would have been a lot easier.
Hey.
And I'm sorry, but this reign has been a dud. So, it looks like Edge is going to win it, and then he gets smacked in the head with like a briefcase or whatever the fuck it was. And Christian is cashing in his little contract thing. And so you think he's going to do it. Then Mox / Ambrose gets him in his chokehold. And Christian puts a finger on Edge. Literally just puts a finger, and you think, oh my God, this is not how he's going to win it. Which, if he did, I honestly wouldn't have hated it.
Right.
Breaks it up, and he rolls into it, and he taps out. Tapped out, and Ambrose, Mox, whatever you want to call him, rolls out of the ring. And there's a confrontation between he and Prince Nana, and then he gets jumped by the new number one contender, Swerve.
I gotta say right now to Daniel's point, the fact that we did get that, it did not save the fact that this main event was absolutely atrocious. It didn't. Paul, go ahead, take it away, and then I'll come back. Hit it, mate.
I don't think you want me to go ahead because this is gonna be very, very fun. So
do it.
Okay, so no, dude, what in the hell? You had Hollywood ending for a fucking match that should have closed the damn show. People would have went home happy, all hunky dory, but they got a shitty ass main event. Why? Why in the hell? Any other time? How many times has Tony not put the world title at the end of a show? He has done it multiple times prior.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if this particular match is a Hollywood ending, that's all you needed it to finish the show, close the show. And they didn't do it. Hell, I would have rather that main event open the damn show, because if you're going to have something trash at the beginning, then have it at the beginning. Why the hell Christian came in to cash in at that moment in time, or why the hell? I understand I understand Sean Ross Sapp was given an explanation, but that's the most bullshit explanation that you can get.
Yep. So
it was garbage.
So
that entire match was fucking garbage. I don't care. You had 3 matches that were on this card that were, and I hate to say the term 5-star, but I mean it was up there. It had. I'm sure that Dickhead Dave decided that he wanted to, sort of give it like maybe a 5-star. I'm pretty sure he did if he had a star rating for all these matches.
I mean, for me, like you mentioned, so for those who won't mention that, Sean Ross Sapp reported on Fightful that the reason for the cash in as the promotion at the post show was they just wanted to give this damn contract out there, as he was pitching the idea to cash in a week leading up to the pay-per-view was Christian. So a weeks ahead of time, he said, hey, we want you to cash in. He did it, and they just want to get the contract out of the way, which hurt everybody involved, which I have to add to this point here. Like you mentioned the 5-star ratings, and we'll get to him.
Can I just say it real quick, Mike?
Yeah.
I would much rather the Big Boom AJ match have closed the show.
Oh, God, the Big Boom AJ, Orange Cassidy,
with the chocolate chunk cookie.
Double chunk chocolate cookie. Yes, but no, to your guys' point, then we had on this week's Dynamite, Christian Cage give an excuse about why he didn't win, and then Nick fucking Wayne stands up to him, and after everything, you could have built even longer to this. I don't want to see Christian Cage feud with Nick Wayne, as long as it leads to a return of Luchasaurus, who we also bullied, Killswitch, and we finally get Luchasaurus mollywopping Christian. But still, that doesn't even pique my interest, because poor Luchasaurus has been out with health reasons and pneumonia. But that doesn't even invest me. And the other part about this is with Cope, with what we're getting with him and Moxley next week in the street fight, I see Moxley winning. We're going to get Moxley and Swerve at Dynasty. And then I think Cope is going to feud with Jay White. And I don't give a damn about Adam Copeland versus Jay White. That doesn't have any interest to me, because Jay White's going to turn heel for the upteenth time. And to add on to even your guys' point, Tony fucking Storm, who cut a great promo last night, talking about glass in the ass and the orgy, put the friggin' keys in the bowl, the whole 9 there. And then here comes Megan Bayne, who's only had 4 fucking matches in this fucking company. And then you have Chris Statlander and Willow, and it's like, oh, hey, remember last month when we were about to come together, but, Willow Nightingale also got beat up by Marina Shafir, and then she gave the concerto to Marina Shafir, so now we're back to Statlander and Willow. Megan Bayne attacks them, so it's either going to be a multi-women's match at Dynasty, or Megan Bayne's going to eat her first loss against Tony Storm. He has no idea what he's doing, because it just...
I'll tell you what he's going to do. And you can see this coming a mile away, whether it's Dynasty or eventually. We are going to get Mercedes Moné taking the title off Tony Storm.
Oh, yeah. You know what's coming. Or even worse, we can have her take it off Athena, and she can now be the Ring of Honor Women's World Heavyweight Champion.
He's going to get all of them.
I mean, with what we're doing with Billy Starks next week, where it's just like, hey, Mercedes, I want a shot at you for the AEW Women's Championship and the TBS Championship. Okay, sure. And Billy Starks ain't winning, but they're doing that next week. It's just such a kerfluffle. It's just such a mess, and he has no idea what he's doing.
To call for Mercedes Moné to call her match with Momo Watanabe saying that it would be legendary.
No, it wasn't. The match was
I
fine.
mean, it wasn't terrible. Like, it was all right.
It was fine, but it just
I've seen her do a lot better.
right. And you have a challenger who nobody gave a damn about. And I like Momo Watanabe, but we knew the result. And number two, they wrestled at a New Japan show last summer. So it's like, hey, remember that time?
I have a question for you. I have a real honest question for you.
Sure.
What are AEW's big shows?
Revolution, Double or Nothing, All In, All Out, Shake It All About.
No, every fucking pay-per-view is a big show for them.
Okay.
There is no top tier show for them.
Right.
I
No
know
WrestleMania.
Revolution was supposed to be this big show.
Like their WrestleMania.
I get it. I get that they went to Wembley Stadium last year to go have All In there. 2 weeks later or a week later, they ended up with All Out in Vegas. What I'm asking is like, you have basically everything is like all bundled together. So none of their pay-per-views are actual huge, every single one of their pay-per-views is huge.
Right.
There is no minimalist to each one than having these huge extravaganzas, much like WWE with Royal Rumble. You know what you're going to get. You know you get two Royal Rumble matches. You know you're probably going to get 2 or 3 matches somewhere in between there. There were only 2 this year, but it made sense because it ran long. We know that WrestleMania obviously is the huge one. We know what SummerSlam is, and we know what Survivor Series is. My point being is that for every AEW pay-per-view, it's always the same fucking thing. Nothing is different. Like, you can't have like 6 quality matches on their minimalist freaking pay-per-views. No, you end up with like 10 to 12 matches throughout the whole fucking pay-per-view, every fucking pay-per-view.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
No,
And
you're wrong.
to add to your point, it's like for me growing up, like I knew the big 4 for WWE. When I watch TNA, I know the big shows are Bound for Glory and Slammiversary. When I watch Ring of Honor, I know the big show is Final Battle. Like, you know, you're setting your stone, but he books it, and Daniel said it, and I'll quote Daniel, he books these shows like every show's a fucking Wrestle Kingdom. He books it like it's fucking New Japan. And
that was the next thing I was gonna say.
Right.
Every pay-per-view is like that Wrestle Kingdom quality. And now if he has Wrestle Dream 2, which is another one back in January, which oddly enough and weirdly enough, it's the day after you do Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, Wrestle Dynasty.
Why? It makes no fucking sense, especially when you have nothing leading up to it.
Well,
It isn't like you can't have a January pay-per-view, but dude, they lead up to nothing.
Yeah,
Especially when they're doing it the weekends of the NFL playoffs or the NFL playoffs, and then you have the NBA that's right smack in the middle of their season. That's what I'm getting at. Is like Royal Rumble was at the in between the Super Bowl and the AFC NFC championship game.
Yeah, it was like the week, like sandwiched right in between.
Yeah,
It was perfect timing.
And his reasoning for the New Japan stuff with Wrestle Dynasty now with Wrestle Kingdom is, it's a great weekend because we're going to have New Japan and AEW all collectively. We're wrestling on each other's shows. Yay. That's his big thing. It's just we're all wrestling each other on everybody's shows. Yay, another with Wrestle Kingdom. And that's
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. But that's the problem.
To me, it just doesn't make any sense to have all these fucking pay-per-views throughout the whole year, and none of them are the minimalist of like I said, 6 matches that are quality matches that you give them time to, develop stories or further stories or begin stories. And they don't have one where it's supposed to be this climax of every fucking story, like WWE does. WWE has been doing it more of late than with at the end of Vince, who didn't give a shit.
Well, that's my thing, too. Like, they want to tell us how great Revolution was when this week we have this friggin' eliminator for Dynasty, where the main event of this show was Orange Cassidy and Hechicero, which, yeah. and you have the debut of Speedball Mike Bailey, which it's great to see Mike Bailey. I love Mike Bailey, but he's not going to be worth a damn because he's just another floppy guy coming in and doing his thing. And I think Mike Bailey's a great wrestler. He had that match with Takeshita for Maple Leaf Wrestling. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But he doesn't add anything because we have so many people that are like a Speedball Mike Bailey. And looking at this tournament where we're going to go with these brackets, they're just setting up for Kenny Omega and Ricochet, and Ricochet's not winning the belt because we got to get to Omega.
No.
And then we got to get to Omega and Okada for friggin' All In. So Ricochet ain't winning the title.
And see, here's the problem. And like you said, I think Mike Bailey is a great talent. Yeah. Issue is he's going to get lost in the shuffle within a year.
Oh, yeah.
What did I say about the women's division in AEW?
It's
like literally you were in that forefront to where you were, in the world title pictures. Where's Mariah May going to be in a month? Nowhere. She's probably going to be on ROH. Either that or she may actually show up trying to face Mercedes. But again, you got one woman that's driving this entire company. And you mentioned it, DC. Who's going to end up taking that ROH title that she's had for nearly 2 years? Who's the one that's going to take it up? It's going to be Mercedes. Why? Because big name over somebody else that doesn't have a big name, even though everybody knows who Athena is.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's the trashy part of all this is like,
and
literally.
I'll say it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
They don't know. I honestly don't really think Tony really knows quite what to do with Ring of Honor.
That's right.
It was said that by putting the title on Jericho, they're going to get a TV show. They said that the first time around. They didn't get it. Tony was offered a TV deal Tuesdays, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the CW. Oh, who ended up getting that? Oh, that's right, NXT.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the Ring of Honor show, but Tony didn't want it. He wanted more money for it, which I get it. But it would have had more eyes on Ring of Honor. I don't get it.
And I mean, you have Chris Jericho now actually doing a serious promo with him booting Bandito and Gravity in front of the family and taking off Gravity's mask. And I'm just like, whatever. And it doesn't interest me. He could try to be serious or whatever, but the Jericho Gravity Bandito feud does not interest me for that title.
That's like every other fucking match that he had with someone's nephew or someone's uncle back in the 1990s.
Yes.
And he's over here wrestling them. But hey, if you remember that, I'm going to wrestle his son. Or, hey, I'm going to wrestle his nephew.
Yep.
Or, hey, I'm going to wrestle his father's brother, sister, cousin, brother's former roommate back in the day.
You mentioned the women. Like, look at Harley Cameron. Like, Harley Cameron went from having this great run in Australia and going from Mercedes, and now she's doing Harley Graham with friggin' Hologram and Powerhouse Hobbs against friggin' Brian Cage and Dralistico this week. And it's like, what?
Again, back to you don't know what the fuck to do with everybody, and it's like you have momentum with her. She is a fucking talent, and yet this idiot has no idea what the fuck to do with anybody.
Well, I also equated it to, and we love Deonna Purrazzo on this show. We all love us some Deonna. Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie had the vendetta. They did a couple squash matches against some teams on Ring of Honor and Rampage. And then Deonna loses to Harley, and she's like, I'm going home. And then Taya Valkyrie is now back with Johnny Mundo and the Maximum Male Models and what they did on the kickoff for Revolution. So it's just like you got Taya back with her husband, and Deonna's like nowhere to be found. That's the vendetta. Whatever.
You want to do something with your women's roster, and you have more than enough talent to do it. Do women's tag titles.
Agreed. And I mean, Megan Bayne is a perfect example. Her and Penelope Ford. And let's not even forget the fact that Megan Bayne, when she attacked Tony this week, there was nothing. Nobody popped. Nobody did anything. It was just pure silence. Because you haven't established Megan Bayne. She just doesn't talk and she's a big brute. That's it. You have nothing about that with Megan Bayne. She just came in and that was it. And now she's going for the women's title.
You can't expect every woman now, except there are some exceptions. Harley Cameron is a fucking talent.
Yep.
She is so fucking talented. She is so fucking over. And I don't understand this obsession with having Mercedes be who she is. Like literally, I don't give a damn that she has all these damn titles, but God, for Christ's sakes, that woman needs to be in the in that main card title picture. Not with the TNT, TBS, whatever the hell the name of the damn title is.
Yes.
And her eventually going after the ROH. She doesn't need that. She needs to be that main event person that everybody perceived her to be prior to her going into AEW. So for her to just to be there and be like this belt collector, much like Austin Aries, is bullshit. It's literally bullshit.
I have to say something that's bullshit. And Moses Marquez, we love you, but he did it again. So Moses Marquez on Max Wrestling, and Mo, we love you. But here's what Moses, bro. We said this on Max with Dazzy. So Moses brought up because as we saw, and first of all, MVP giving the card to MJF and having the Hurt Syndicate help him, and we heard people made no sense, but okay. But also on the other side of the coin, he's like, the Hurt Syndicate, they won, they beat the Outrunners. It was a great match. But, and maybe they can have beat them. I'm just saying, because we haven't seen them, the Young Bucks. I do not want to see the Young Bucks against the Hurt Syndicate and have the Young Bucks be the ones to defeat the Hurt Syndicate. Ain't no way to quote charisma. Ain't no way. I will not have that. Love you.
And then they will randomly put the Bucks back with Kenny Omega.
God almighty.
Yeah, let's forget everything that happened. You know what? Stories don't matter here. You know what? Let's forget. Bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Let's start all over and forget about everything that we did to you.
When I in the car, broke your ribs.
Only thing that matters, 5-star matches.
5-star. Oh, and we'll get to that.
I'll do Mick.
And I'll pay you.
Pay you. So we'll get to 5-star Dave really quickly. This is the one.
If I can, Mike, I just want to make one final point with Tony shit stain here. There was a talent that he had, young girl by the name of Roxy.
Hey,
whatever. He didn't know what to do with her. Where'd she go?
She actually just killed it in the theater at Madison Square Garden against Jordan Grace this Tuesday.
Right, and she's somebody that he let slip through his fingers.
Oh yeah, when Ring of Honor was purchased, they let her go.
I wouldn't be shocked if Harley Cameron leaves too.
I see a lot of these people leaving. I don't see a lot of these people staying around. Like, we'll mention it briefly before we get to shit stain, as he so eloquently put it, Mr. Daniel Crimmins. Jeff Cobb, like you mentioned, Jeff Cobb internally on the roster. Zilla looks to be going there. When Jeff Cobb, who's been on AEW, he's done the New Japan stuff, he's done the Forbidden Door stuff, but he decided, hey, I'm going to go to WWE, and I'm going to say right now, give me Jeff Cobb and Obafemi. If Obafemi's looking for a next challenger, give me him and Jeff Cobb.
I'll do you one better.
Hit me.
Jeff Cobb and Bronson Reed, Jeff Cobb and Gunter, Jeff Cobb and Roman,
Jacob Fatu.
I
put it into the universe.
Give me Jeff Cobb versus Walter versus Bronson versus Jacob.
Jeff
4 big guys that just in one match.
But what does that tell you? Jeff Cobb, who's done all these AEW appearances in New Japan, he's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go WWE.
I honestly, I'll be honest with you boys, I never thought
I didn't think it either.
I saw that message. I was like, well, all right then.
Yeah, let's fucking go, Jeff Cobb. And Zilla makes sense with the bloodline. So, I mean, you have bodies.
Who his dad is, you knew. You knew it was a matter of time. Anybody with the last name of Fatu or Anawai, no.
And I will say this. So with the great superstars that we had 2 great superstars in Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, like we mentioned, killer cage match. And then the following night, we had CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the cage match, which we'll get to that even more in depth here. But Uncle Dave decided to put his foot in his mouth. And this is the one time that we're going to play some Uncle Dave. So here it is. It is Uncle Dave, and the preface of the clip is this. Dave Meltzer complaining about Punk and Seth kicking out of too many finishers when the company he works for literally has fans cheering Fight Forever because nobody sells shit in AEW, and Brian Alvarez low-key throwing shade at the WWE for working safe. So here is Uncle Dave on the latest edition of the Observer Live.
It's fantastic, but you do that match where you're kicking out of these finishers, like, probably what, eight finishers kicked out probably total.
Well, I can tell you right now, we had actually, I do want to say one thing this was a really good match. And my favorite part of this match is Punk hits an elbow off the top. He hits a second elbow off the top. The fans chant one more time. And so he hits a third one and Seth kicks out. So then Punk climbs up to the top of the cage. And I thought, you're too old to do this, dude. And then Seth starts climbing up to the top of the cage. And I'm like, oh my God, what are these two guys going to do? They're up there on the top.
Well, I kind of figured it would be a superplex because that's the Hogan boss.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's what was clever about it. They end up fighting up there. And then Seth kind of ends up climbing down. And he ends up standing on the top rope. Mm-hmm. And he grabs Punk. And so Punk is kind of draped on the top of the cage. But really, Seth is only standing on the top rope. So essentially, he just gave him a top rope superplex,
right?
Which we see regularly, not regularly, but you see it every now and then when they go all the way to the very top.
You see it in every car, every pay-per-view card. You probably see one.
Well, sure, yeah. But the point is, I mean, this place went fucking nuts. Like, they saw this as a suplex off the top of the cage. The announcers called it suplex off the top of the cage. I was like, that was not off the top of the cage. That was a suplex. But the point is, they did something very, very safe. But like the illusion caused the fans to lose their shit, thinking they just saw a guy get superplexed off the top of the cage. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Now, before we even get that reaction, we cue to the one, the only Mr. Bully Ray from Busted Open as what is the takeaway from the steel cage match last night on WWE Raw?
The storytelling, the psychology, the drama, everything you need, and it's all being told by the wrestlers. And I can not only did I hear a certain fan base screaming last night on social media, not only did I hear a certain fan base screaming this morning on social media, but I can hear that certain fan base screaming through their radios right now. Spoiler alert, I'm not talking about AEW. I'm not comparing last night's cage match to the cage match at Revolution. How many times have I complained about cage matches in general not sticking to what cage matches used to be?
And usually the WWE is the one that's guilty of it.
Correct a fucking mundo. I'm not comparing it to Fletcher and Ospreay.
And they had a tremendous match on Sunday. Not taking anything away from it. That's not the discussion right now.
In its own right, Fletcher and Ospreay had a great cage match. Is it my cup of tea by bringing all of the extra shit in there? Absolutely not. My cup of tea is what we saw last night. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what Fletcher and Ospreay did was bad. Those two guys tore it down. But I'm a traditionalist when it comes to certain matches. What I got last night is what I wanted to see. And what I got last night tells you how over you are. They were breathing heavy, and I loved seeing that. I love seeing the exhaustion. I love seeing the struggle. I love seeing the frustration. That match gave me everything I could possibly want as a fan. Me, the fan.
Beautifully said from Bully Ray. Now, before we get to the great Bully Ray, y'all want to talk about dumbass Dave Meltzer?
All
right, go ahead. I'll let Dan go through with Mr. Oh Yeah over here. Go ahead, Dan.
For one thing, dipshit Dave, it was an entertaining match. Both cage matches told different stories, but they were fine.
Mm-hmm.
And multiple finishes, kicking out. It tells the story of, hey, I've thrown everything at this guy. I've thrown my finisher at him. It's not working. So if your top weapon against your opponent isn't working, what are you going to do? You're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. There have been other matches. WrestleMania 40. The main event with Cody and Roman.
Yep.
Did he say anything about when Cody hit Crossroads 3 times in a row? No. But what that story told was that Cody understood that it was going to take everything to take Roman down.
Right.
And I guarantee you, if Dipshit Dave if AEW had put that same exact match in AEW, he would have loved it. Well, let me tell you something. That cage match was 5 stars. It just it was great. It was great. 5 stars, 50 stars, 10 million stars. Great cage match. Greatest of all time.
Paul, you want to add to that before I put my 2 cents in?
Look, the point is that it was a fucking great match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them were great fucking matches, and both of them told a story. They both all 4 guys went out there and they kicked ass. Ospreay and freaking Fletcher were in AEW. They kicked ass in that cage match. Yes, was it a little bit overworked at points, but they did more than they should have, and they needed to. You know, had you just kept all the, like, as Bully said, all the extracurricular stuff that didn't need to happen, it did not need to happen. If you just kept it simple and did a few here and there, you know, to excite the crowd and get them over and get yourselves over, great. But if you look at what Punk and Rollins did, it told the story of them hating each other. Why was it so long? Because it told a story, the struggles that they both have. Roman coming in at the end because of everything that happened with him and Seth. That's why, that's how you end up keeping safe CM Punk not getting taking the loss, but not taking the pin, not having Seth exit over the cage, not losing by submission, but he went through the door, not by his own will, but by somebody else pulling him out.
And let's add to that. The whole working safe thing.
Yeah.
We're about 40-something days between now and WrestleMania?
Yes.
Like 40, I think it's like 40 or 39 days.
40, 49, 42 days.
40 days, yeah.
So it's close. They don't want to risk either of them. Would you rather them be at the very top of the cage and do a superplex and have one of them possibly break their fucking back? And then we're down one of them or both of them? No. And it makes sense. And let's not forget the story that we also got when Paul Heyman was consoling Punk. The look from Roman.
What the hell?
Saying, what the hell is that? And then Roman snaps and attacks Punk.
I think what I do like about it, to add to your point, Mr. Daniel Crimmins, and to your point, Mr. Pomerell, is both of these matches, Kyle and Will were friends. They were 2 brubs, and they culminated in that feud that ended it. Now they move on to other pastures. With this is Seth gets another win. Roman pulls him out, gives him the curb stomp because it goes back to Roman and Seth. And then Punk, like Daniel mentioned, there's the conflict. Like, who's Paul going to choose? Is he going to choose and be his wise man for Roman Reigns, or is he going to go with the best in the world, CM Punk, his best friend? And also, what the hell's the doggone favor? So that heightens that up, and you have a lot of conflict there, which is going to result in a great triple threat at WrestleMania. So you ended a feud, you continued another feud, and then there's a rubber match for Seth and CM Punk in the future. So there's added elements to that. And I think both of what we got to see in both respective nights, that's the beauty of professional wrestling, storytelling.
What if the triple threat match that they have, they get inserted into the world title match?
And then I would have Punk win, and then you have Punk and Cena in there because they're from the chamber, and then, of course, Punk and Cody with a stab in the face. Yep. Yes. Which,
what if?
Yeah.
Hear me out.
No.
No. You won't hear me out, dag nabbit.
Damn it.
Everyone thinks that Heyman's going to side with Punk against Roman.
Right.
What if we get a swerve? What if Heyman sides with Rollins?
Hey.
Damn.
Yeah. Put it out there.
You know, people thought putting Heyman with Reigns was, wasn't going to work.
I mean, there's a lot of 180s that you could do there, and I mean Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman.
It was also reported that Triple H is now having Paul Heyman work directly with Braun Breaker.
Oh, well, I mean, if there's anybody that can work with Braun on promos and anybody, it's Paul Heyman.
Remember that one NXT that he showed up and he did say, the tribal chief sees you, he sees what you do, and I see what you do too. So there was those little seeds. We have to go back to everything that we have over the history of WWE. We literally have to go back and start to compile all these things, that all these little nuggets that we've gotten over the years and over this past year from CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and we don't know because Triple H has gone back to things that have happened before, but kind of revamped them to what's going on today to help out with stories.
When we got the Braun versus Jay feud, they referenced WrestleMania 9.
Yep. Yes, they did. With the Steiners and the head shrinker. Yeah, like you have elements there, and it's great that we can actually say that now, unlike the previous regime. We're highlighting it, and that's what you need to do.
You don't mention that guy's name.
I know, but I'm just saying the current regime kicks that one's ass all day, every day. And speaking of kicking ass, a lot of people wanted to kick this woman's ass. The final thing on AEW before we talk about Cena, Jade, and all right, I'm going to say this first and foremost. The people that said to Bianca Belair, it looked like something off a BET soap opera, something like a Tyler Perry movie. We're going to get to that because y'all people made me laugh on that. Bianca Belair deserves her flowers. So let's get into the one final thing on AEW. So Damaris Lewis from Queen of the Ring, she screwed up. So on the AEW pay-per-view, if you saw it, talking about, the wrestlers I get to learn, when they're going to lose and whatnot. And Camille clarified it on her Instagram post, but this is Damaris clearing up on her end. And Paul Morales, shout out to you for this fine clip. And here we go.
Can you explain what you were trying to say that people overreacted to on Sunday?
Yeah. First and foremost, I completely take accountability for how it came out. That was not how it was intended. So I'm sorry if it came out way wrong. During the course of our press tour, I've been reiterating the statement that I learned from pro wrestlers that you guys carry something in you that says all the time, I'm going to win, 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 I'm going to win. And it's been incredibly inspiring to me. So having a very short time period to think about an answer in the arena, that's what came out of my mouth. And when I heard it back, I too was also like, that's not what I meant. But yes, I've been saying, because it's true, because I also am incredibly inspired by this sport, that you're going to win before you step in the ring, no matter what. It is a sport. It is real. People are in there, in that ring, doing what they got to do. It's tough. It's dangerous at times. I respect it fully with my whole heart. So yes, I will say it again. I am so sorry if it came out that way. But like you said, you got to know the house you're in. I know that these fans love their sport and that they were defending their sport. So I can't be mad.
Fair enough. And Camille would go on as well on her Instagram front to touch upon this incident. So here's Camille's response.
Okay. I woke up this morning and I'm seeing lots of things about, oh my gosh, how could this actress say that, wrestling is fake? What in the world's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I looked, and it was my girlfriend Damaris, and I was thinking, why would she say something like that? She has I did press with her. I was on the film with her. She has so much respect for wrestling. And so I looked into it and I watched the video. Guys, that's not what she meant. I did press with her, and a lot of questions that were asked was like, what's your biggest takeaway from this film? And something that she really reinforced was that she learned from Mildred's story and from a lot of the wrestlers that she got to talk to is that they already know they're going to win. She's not talking about who's going to win. If you notice, she doesn't say, y'all already know who's going to win. She said, y'all already know you're going to win. What she meant by that is we are determined. We know that we're winners. We know that we're going to make it no matter what. We have in our mind predetermined that we are going to win, that we're going to get where we want to go, do what we want to do, what dream we set. That's what she meant, guys. And if you watch other interviews that she did, she makes it much more clear. It's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate it came out the way it did in the situation it came out in. But she only had a few seconds to get across something that was really meaningful for her, like something that she's a deep thinker, guys. Someone that's such a deep thinker, do you really think that their biggest takeaway is, oh, you wrestlers taught me that this is predetermined. Thanks for that. Guys, what we're showing right now is that the wrestling community is actually really mean and nasty and loves to attack, which I don't disagree with. Let's give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's go and ask her, you guys. Let's get the words from her mouth when she has more than 5 seconds to say what she's trying to say. Again, unfortunate. It's the way it came out. That's not what she meant, guys. Attack me if you want. I don't care. I literally do not care. But don't attack my friend. She's no fool. She's a deep thinker, and she respects the business a great amount. So I just wanted to put this out there. I'm not defending the movie. I don't care. Whatever. But I am defending Damaris because it's BS, the stuff that I'm seeing and the people that are attacking her. Guys, she was trying to put over wrestlers as determined and hard workers, and that's it.
Well, alrighty. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Paul, I'll start with you about this whole thing in Damaris and Camille's responses.
Shout out to Damaris. You know what? It's not like wrestling fans don't already know. Go back to Netflix, the premiere of Netflix. What was that video? The one thing that Triple H said
about kayfabe and predetermined and everything. He highlighted
exactly. He highlighted everything. So why is it such a fucking stigma now? Not like we don't know. Hell, we're wrestling fans. But we as wrestling fans don't know who's going to win. Do they know? Of course they do. Yeah. They know who's going to fucking win. But us sitting in the stands, sitting in our living rooms, watching this on TV, watching this on our phones, we have no idea who's going to win. But yet, are we happy when they do? Are we pissed off when someone else does? Yeah. Of course. Because we're wrestling fans. It's like being having a sports team. You guys know this too. Either you're happy when your team wins, or you're pissed off because your team loses. It's one.
I'm looking at you, New York Yankees.
I'm looking at
you. Yeah, ask the Yankees. They got their asses whipped. World Series champions. You know what I'm saying?
See if you can make it happen this year.
That's my point, though. Is like, you win some, you lose some, but hey, you live to fight another day. I know I'm quoting fucking movies, but here, that's not here nor there. Look, my point. I'm trying to get at my point.
Yes.
Look, we all, as wrestling fans, we know this shit is predetermined. If you're like a little kid, yeah, you may not know this, but hey, better to know it now that nobody is lying to you and they tell you the truth.
Right.
Rather than finding out later on in life. Like most of these fucking idiots that are on the IWC,
To quote one of the all-time greats, one of my all-time favorites, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Wrestling is scripted.
Yep. Boom.
And also in the news, the sky is blue, water is wet, the economy's in the shitter. And also, let's look at it. She misspoke.
And we have a tangerine for a president.
That too.
And honestly, I am looking forward to Queen of the Ring. I think it looks like a really good movie.
I want to watch it.
Same. I mean,
it looks fun. And here's the thing. if wrestlers don't care, why do you? Like, these are people that wish they could be involved in the wrestling business, that wish they could be in there, but you know what? They never will.
Right? No, I'm right
Get
there with
over
you. It reminds me of just like, you still want to keep kayfabe alive, but it's just but the problem is it is what it is. And I mean, we know it's predetermined, like you guys mentioned, but I also look at it from a stance too, like this. They have respect. The Queen of the Ring brings out a lot of great history with Mildred Burke and everything that went into professional wrestling with women as opposed to like the 50s and the 40s and everything in that genre. She's playing a character. She's learning about it, much like Zac Efron did when he was on the Iron Claw set with the Von Erich movie. So we all get to learn about wrestling here. And people misspeak, or they misspoke. It happens. So the fact that she got that heat, and for me, when she said it, I'm like, oh, God. And the reason I didn't say it, not because I knew she didn't misspeak, but I'm just like, the wrestling fans are going to go at her, and they did. And it's just, guys,
rabid.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Ugh. But that being said, Damaris, we love you. Camille, we love you even more.
I think it's gonna be a great movie.
It's gonna be great. And I mean, when you talk about sports, you talk about the Yankees, and you talk about my New York Knickerbockers. You know how many friggin' Knicks games I've had to sit through where they got their asses kicked at the Garden? It's fucking painful.
All of them.
Stop it. All of them, as we all have had.
You mentioned Zac Efron. What about Stephen Amell? Look at
Stephen Amell. Yeah.
Stephen Amell was in heels. Not only was he in heels, he stepped in the ring before. So he can tell you, yes, it's predetermined. And yes, you watch the show Heels. Guess what? You find out the ins and outs of that damn show.
Mickey Rourke.
You find out. Yeah. Mickey Rourke. That's another one who said, God damn, he even came out and said, I applaud all these guys that do this because they're more athletic and more athletes than a lot of the athletes that are in professional sports, that are in major sports, soccer, boxing, and football, basketball. I mean, because they got to go out there night after night and abuse the shit out of their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Football players, yeah, they do it, but man, at least you get a break.
Right. There's no off season in professional wrestling.
And there ain't no off season in professional wrestling.
And it wasn't that big of a deal.
It really wasn't.
Calm down.
Yeah. And exactly. It wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
I shout out to Damaris, man, because I'm glad that she came out, that she said something, but hey, for all those IWCs, y'all are a bunch of pieces of shit. And speaking of IWC, for all you motherfuckers that keep coming after fucking Wheezy Blonde, oh my God, I wish I could fucking come through my damn fucking computer and beat the shit out of every one of you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
y'all gotta leave fucking people alone, man. Y'all are some stupid motherfuckers.
I noticed that she deleted her Twitter. Yeah, fucking people gotta stop. They really one of the nicest people in the fucking.
And oh my God, she is so fucking nice. She is so wonderful. Thank you for a couple of interactions that I had with you, Wheezy, and I appreciate them more than anybody. Y'all are a bunch of pieces of shit for fucking coming after any content creator. I see the people that go on fucking Mini Portable shit and they talk shit to her. I see the people that come after Denise, which I want to stab people because that's my girl. Y'all don't come after her.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you, Vince Russo, on that because Vince Russo says some things about her, but then again, it's bro.
Let me tell you what they're gonna do, bro.
Oh, for the love of God. Anyway, don't come after people. Be respectful. IWC.
Don't
be respectful to the people.
After,
except for him, you could go after
Yeah, except for that douchebag. Wheezy got your support.
We love you. We love you.
Love you.
So the next one that we will go to that we loved, and a lot of people love the Elimination Chamber, and we got to see a hell of a show. We got to see, we'll start with Jade. Jade Cargill comes out and absolutely mollywops the shit out of Naomi to the pods, to the chamber. Bianca Belair crying like she's friggin' Beyonce in the movie Obsessed with Idris Elba. Yes, I took it back to Idris Elba and Beyonce and Obsessed. Oh my God. So Bianca with the friggin' award-winning performance. Then we get to SmackDown, and these two are crying like, and I mentioned earlier, the BET, like a Tyler Perry's friggin' show on the friggin' BET network. And these two got heated, and Naomi called her an ungrateful bitch. I almost was waiting for her to say, I did it for Bianca, and instead of I did it for The Rock. These women had a hell of a thing, and I loved it that Jade came out and mollywopped her. This was the way to do it, and let's not even give credit to Bianca. Give more credit to Naomi, because who would have thought this emotion, this raw emotion, y'all been trying to get on me saying I did it, and y'all been trying to come at me. I love this. Paul, let you take it away on this first one. Go ahead. Talk about Jade, Bianca, and Naomi.
This was epic. Tyler Perry at its finest. Bianca gave a fucking performance like no other. I mean, this was beyond Precious, The Color Purple, any of them damn movies that were, nominated for Academy Awards. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that Bianca needs an award to just be like, girl, you just here you go, girl. Here, you got this award right here, and you need to be up there accepting it. BET Awards, you need to give her one this year because, man, that was just beyond epic. The fact that Naomi took that ass beating not once but twice, man, that was another one. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Jade too. I know she came in. We'll use Molly whopped.
Yeah.
And she whooped the shit out of her. And it was awesome. I was so impressed. Hell, I thought I was watching a Tyler Perry movie. I kid you not. I kid you not.
So
shout out to all three of you women. Y'all are beautiful. Y'all are wonderful, and I want this story to continue. And y'all do your black girl magic. DC,
take it away, Dan.
I thought it was great. I think I'm excited to see where this goes as a fan.
Right.
Personally, what I would love to see, I'm thinking WrestleMania. Depending on, I would do Jade versus Bianca one night, and then Naomi and Jade and Naomi, and then whatever night they do the one, I would have Naomi help Bianca win. I would turn Bianca, and I would have Bianca help Naomi win.
Yeah, I mean,
and just do a turn.
There was that subtlety when Jade hit her with
You
Jade.
get that feeling like somebody's going to turn.
Yeah.
You get it's like you look at how Naomi came out to the ring. She wasn't glowing. She was in black.
Yeah.
You look at Jade the night that she came out for Elimination Chamber. She was all in black.
Yep.
She came out on SmackDown. She was all in white, red, with the blood stains all up on her all up on her bodysuit, all up on her boots. That's where she was at, and
For me,
I think if I can just finish my point, Mike.
Yeah,
I think Jade turning to me is too obvious. And I think they could explain it that Bianca is thinking about it like she was being held back by Jade. She was having to be the tag team. She wasn't getting the title opportunities, but Naomi kind of got her through it. She took care of it, and now Bianca's going to WrestleMania.
You see what I like how you brought your point in there too. Both of y'all's points were great. I look at it like this: like when Jade hit her with the Jaded on SmackDown, and Naomi's yelling at Bianca. Could Bianca maybe have been involved in it as well? Was it Bianca put Naomi up to it, much like you guys were saying? Like for me, you have Bianca on the other side of the coin, which, like you mentioned, the heel turn. We got Io Sky, who shockingly wins the women's championship from Rhea in a great moment. Then she absolutely slaps the shit out of both Rhea and Bianca on Raw with a great promo exchange. So you have the Bianca-Rhea conflict over here. You have Bianca, Naomi, and Jade, which I'm sure WrestleMania is going to lead to Jade and Naomi. So you have two things that can really tie together, and everybody's really being featured here, guys.
Yeah, there are wrestling fans that like to know everything.
Yeah.
And they're the ones like us that, are just excited to see where this show goes. What, where is this gonna go? And honestly, I love WrestleMania season because right now this isn't a Vince. With Vince, you'd be able to say, yeah, they're going to do this and this and this. Now,
You don't
we
know.
know. We have an idea where we think it's going to go, but we don't know for sure.
And I mean, Paul, I'll ask you because Io, Rhea, and Bianca, that's a WrestleMania worthy match for me. Io getting the surprise win, getting the rightful win, it was such a great reaction. Do you have Mommy now in the chase and the conflict with her and Rhea never beating her and Bianca didn't get a chance to have that one-on-one? What are your thoughts?
I like the way it's developing. I love that. I get it. I still got my Rhea still on top. Mommy's still on top. Sure. But here's the thing is I like Rhea when she chases the belt. I love Rhea when she has the belt. So for me as a fan, I just want to see what happens next. If Mommy starts into this downfall and we end up seeing her losing and not winning like we're used to, it gives a little bit more substance to her character because now she needs to have that losing streak. Now that she's already went through that winning streak, obviously she left, came back from injury, beat Liv, got her belt back, was on top. Then she got distracted with Bianca, at ringside. But it was more about her being that arrogant, it was kind of arrogance if you really look at it. It was very arrogant of her to just stand there and continue, oh, well, it's going to be me and you. It's going to be me and you. Taking her eye off of the prize that you still have an opponent that's in the ring. Boom, in a blink of an eye, now you don't have your title.
Right. And
that's what's going to happen next. I don't know. You don't know. But like we've collectively have said, we want to be excited and we anticipate what's going to happen next. And as fans, we want to enjoy what happens next. Whether it's in our favor, we can predict everything that happens.
Right.
And everybody in the community, in the wrestling community, we could predict this. The only ones that know are Triple H, Paul Heyman, and whoever else he has in the back. Those are the people who know what's going to happen. And then the wrestlers are notified probably a couple of days or a day before whoever's going to win. Can we predict Jay's going to beat him? Can we definitively say that Jay is going to be world heavyweight champion after WrestleMania? No. Because do we want it that way?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Do we think it's going to go that way? Yeah.
As wrestling fans, we want it to go that way. But if it doesn't go that way, are we like, why didn't he pull the trigger on it? Is it because we want Gunther to be that dominant champion like he was with the IC title? Or do we think that Jay is worth that whole I'm going to chase this, and continually chase it, and then he gets it at next year's WrestleMania?
I think
Cody.
Yeah, I think the chase with him, much like Cody, because he's one of the top baby faces in the company, even if he doesn't win, it doesn't hurt him because then people are going to be more invested with him because they want to see Jay win because Jay is such a likable, lovable character. And the thing, too, is like you mentioned, Gunther. Gunther is in that prime position where he rightfully deserves the spot that he's in. Then you look on the other side of the coin, you got Roman, Punk, and Rollins. You have the other side of the coin of Cody and Cena, which we'll get to see in a second here. But god dang it, man, this card is really shaping up. And another thing I have to put into
slowly but surely.
Yes, sir. And another thing
Don't call me Shirley.
I love you, man. So we're going to bring this into fruition because we mentioned the BET performance, and I saw this. Paul wanted to talk about it, and BET, shout out to BET for everything Black History Month. So we're going to pull this up because BET put a top 15 list here. So BET has a list of the 15 greatest Black wrestlers ever. Booker T is listed as number 1. So here are the 15. 15 is Jazz, 14 is Shelton Benjamin, 13 is Naomi, 12 is Jacqueline, 11 is Big E, 10 is Devon Dudley, 9 is Bianca Belair, 8 is Bobby Lashley, 7 is Ron Simmons, 6 is Junkyard Dog, 5 is Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, 4 is Mark Henry, 3 is Kofi Kingston, 2 is The Rock, and number 1 is the man you see here, King Booker. Booker.
King Booker.
King Booker.
Yeah. So what do y'all think of that list? Booker T number 1, I'm cool with. Over The Rock. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I am
people who
perfectly
complain.
fine with it
I'm
because
fine.
you look at. I don't mind that The Rock is on it. I would have liked to have seen Xavier Woods on there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I understand Moose is still, a young kid, but we're talking all time. We're talking about all time greats. And yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is half black. But I mean, I get it. You wanted somebody with a known name. Yes, you get The Rock on there. It's not like if you would have put Xavier Woods, but as wrestling fans, we know all these names. We know what they meant to the business. Bobo Brazil probably would have been another name that I would have thrown on there. Tony Atlas, yes, I know. Before you look at me, DC.
Me and The Rock.
But I'm saying, like, dude, Tony
You
Atlas.
tried to grab a pickle.
Yeah. But I mean, there are still, I mean, you can extend this list out and put those names on it, and I'm pretty sure we can probably name quite a few other ones that were on there. What about Bubba Ray Dudley? I'm joking. But I'm saying is that it's a great list. I love it. I honestly just do love it. I think a lot of the women that are on the list have made their stamped their names into the history books of wrestling. Even Mercedes, yes, even her.
Yeah.
But across the board, I think it's a great list.
Same. You have prominent athletes on here that really etched their way past, present, and future.
JYD especially, man, because
Junkyard Dog, give him
the stuff that I beg anybody. There's a biography, and I believe it's on YouTube somewhere. If you go watch him and the things that he went through, from the from the 70s into the 80s, all the way up until shortly before his passing. Like, dude, the things that he dealt with just racially. And in other territories, including inside of WWF, it's crazy.
Now,
to say the least. And the fact that he's a great man. He's a really, really great man.
One of my favorites, probably one of the most underrated baby faces. The stuff that he did with the kids. Everybody's wrestled from King Harley Race at WrestleMania. Like, the dude is he was that guy.
I feel like in a different time, he would have been a world champion.
I agree.
Like, I believe he was a world champion. Hold on.
Well, like one of the major companies.
Let me look at that. All right, I could see that, but I also look at it from a stance too as well. Like, a lot of things really from the Junkyard Dog era, like for what we see with Mid-South, him and Ted DiBiase had those legendary feuds. But I also equate it to what we get to see a lot now, and it's just really amazing just to see where we're going with how Black African Americans or African American wrestlers or wrestlers in general. It has the thing. You can even make a case for The Rock being on that list with Soul Man Rocky Johnson and what the Anoa'i family has done. So there's many ways that you could really extend the list of people, As Paul looks that up.
It's a really
no. He was the USWA world champion once.
Okay. Fair enough.
He did. You mentioned Mid-South Wrestling. He was their champion one time. Their North American champion 4 times. But yeah, you know what? He has won championships in other promotions. Yeah. What I'm getting at is like you. In WWF, and I saw this question post up. I think it was wrestling.co. What if in the 80s, Hogan and Savage had gotten injured at the same time? Who would be the top guy in the company? Who do you think, if you think back to the 80s, who would be the top guy in the company? Piper, and that would be the first name that popped into my head because of how over he was, even as
a heel,
and he's as great of a heel as he was. I think Ted DiBiase probably would have been another name of somebody that could have carried that banner too, because he was such a great wrestler. I mean, even dare I say Greg Valentine, he's not great on the mic, but the thing is about about Greg is that he's a great worker in the ring.
Oh, yeah. He understands the psychology.
And that was something that was very but you give him somebody like a mouthpiece like Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he had Jimmy Hart as his manager, him and Beefcake. You know, you give that man a mouthpiece, you know, he just would have been to the moon too. Of all those guys that would have been there, even Junkyard Dog.
Hell yeah!
I mean, BYD, you know, going back to him, like, if I'm a promoter and, you know, I want someone that I could put on TV shows or, you know, do appearances with kids, it's JYD. Like, it's the Junkyard.
Yeah.
Look at, like, he has it. Like, he's got the personality. Like, he had it. And I feel like in a different time, he would have been WWE champion.
For real. And I mean, Bill Watts even took a chance on him. Like, Bill Watts, everybody accused him of being a racist, but like Junkyard Dog was his world's heavyweight champion. He was a highly paid man back in that time during that era. Like, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Junkyard Dog had that factor and what could have been what had been in WWF. And we mentioned King Harley Race, but I think with what he did with his babyface run of the character that he would be, especially during the Rock and Wrestling Connection, the cartoon days, he really did heighten up and really live the gimmick and live the overall image. So
yeah, but you go back and you look at the times that he's been in the ring. He's brought kids in the ring.
Hell
So
yeah.
you talked about how much of a crowd pleaser or a people pleaser he was, you know, and how great he would be with kids. Yeah, there were times where you'd see like videos of him like pulling kids out of the audience, you know, going in this ring and them doing the little shake that he does. You know, that was just his persona, and that was what he loved to do. He loved the kids. He loved dancing with people and getting them hyped for wrestling shows.
And I will say,
and after matches.
Hell,
WrestleMania 3.
Whew. That's my thing too, with people getting hyped, and that's just the great part of the art form, professional wrestling, hyping yourself up, amplifying yourself. But someone who should not amplify or heighten herself up. As we get to, we mentioned Jade earlier with the story. So Jade Cargill was also in the news for something that happened, and we're going to get into it. So this is from WON. There was a confrontation that took place a few months ago before the Jade Cargill injury involving Cargill and Shayna Baszler. It's been confirmed by a half dozen people that it happened, but nobody went into details past Cargill had rubbed enough people in the Raw Women's division the wrong way, and Baszler was wanting to fight her until management found out and calmed the situation down. The time frame was when they were doing Baszler and Stark versus Belair and Cargill matches. It wasn't said what in particular happened, other than it wasn't just one thing, and the belief is that some of this stemmed from inside the ring in those matches, and some didn't. One woman star said they believed the tension within the SmackDown side was worse than the Raw side. So, yeah, Jade Cargill, out of everybody that you want to fuck with, Shayna Baszler?
Not one of them.
Yeah.
No,
not one of them. Dude,
one of the women who could fuck you up.
Yeah, and pretty
and
much
literally,
yeah,
fuck you up.
Jade Cargill saying that Shayna don't know how to work. Excuse me, Jade Cargill. You want to say that one more time?
Open mouth.
Jade, I know how cut you are. I know how powerful you are.
Yep.
But I'm gonna tell you this right now, please. God forbid, girl, you never bite the head of the snake.
Right.
Because it will bite you.
Don't do it.
Don't
do
do
it. But that's what got me about that.
She's not making herself. She's not ingratiating herself.
Oh no.
And honestly, I've said this, Mike. You and I talked about this the other day when we were recording.
Yep.
I could see Jade leaving. I think like if Hollywood came knocking, she'd be like, bye.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, she's in her 30s. Like she's not like some young spry kid, but I mean she's still green. You know, as far as like her working, yeah, she has a great body. Yeah, she's toned it up and everything, but she's still very green as far as like, you know, how many matches she has under her belt. The reason, you know, why they teamed her with Bianca was because it gave her the experience. It gave her that ring experience that she didn't get in AEW. So I honestly think she should have started in NXT because that would have helped her out immensely.
I agree.
To show so much of herself and be up against a lot of the women that are there. And it would have gave them that propel. Yeah, is she a main eventer? Of course she is. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that if she would have started off at NXT, she would have been on the main roster by now.
Absolutely.
My thing,
but
too.
she would have got that experience down there with under Sean.
Right. I look at her like she could have had so many great matches on NXT and have a lot of great feuds. She could have worked with a veteran like a Fallon Henley, or she could have worked with a Jordan Grace. She could have worked with a Stephanie Vaquero or Julia or whoever. You had the tools, and even like a Lash Legend, her and Jakara Jackson, even be involved with them, with the metaphor. Like, there's so many people that she could have worked, but, they put her to the main roster. I mean, her working with Bianca was cool, and getting that meteoric rise with the tag titles and the Royal Rumble spot. But you cannot be having this way with someone like a Shayna Baszler, who has done Invicta, who's been on the Ultimate Fighter, who will literally fuck you up, the submission magician, the submission specialist, great wrestler in her own right, trained by Billy Robinson, of all people. Like, this is not something that she should want to be involved with. But unfortunately,
this is a woman
yes.
that if she wanted to, she would get you in a Kimura lock and snap your arm in half.
Well, did you notice even one of the matches, they even put a clip of like Shayna choking her out, and like you could tell like she was really putting that choke in during that tag match. Like you could tell like she was really not holding back on that choke.
Who do you think trained Ronda?
Exactly. I get it. I know.
Like Ronda even said in an interview, she said, I wouldn't want to mess with Shayna.
Right. Like that's the thing. It's just people are going to be people and be stupid. And that's what she's being right now, is stupid. Speaking of something stupid, I had to put the tweet because Paul Morales said it best. Stupid. Paul Morales said it best. The receipt is coming. So there's been a lot of discourse and back and forth with Naomi calling each other bitches. And just, if you've not checked out the Naomi and Jade feud on Twitter, it's been great. This right here is the tweet. I don't give a damn, Rikishi. Your daughter was dead wrong, and she's going to get everything coming to her bitch ass. No, the fuck you didn't. You just went at fucking Rikishi. You went at friggin' everything from that. You do not get Pops into this. You do not get Keish into this because he's a bad man. Y'all remember that theme song?
I did it man. For The Rock.
I did it for the people. What are your thoughts on this tweet? Because my goodness gracious, like when if Naomi is,
can we also add in the response I sent you guys from Drew McIntyre?
We'll put that in the show. We absolutely will. I will put that here in the show. Absolutely, we will. But that's the thing too. It's just people don't do it. Jade, like even I'll put in Naomi in this. Do you really want to piss off Naomi? I wouldn't want to piss off Naomi. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't want to piss off Naomi. You see who her family is?
That's what I'm saying. And she just,
you see who she married into the family too?
Do you really want to get the?
And there's more of them.
I know. That's the thing. And I get it's for heat, but still, my God, woman. My God, tone it down. Tone it the fuck down.
Like you're gonna piss off the bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not who you want to piss off. Of all the people you don't want to piss off, those would be the people. But before we get into that, we need to get into this because this right here is going to be epic.
Yes. Yeah. And this was
surprising names.
And this is a DC get. Thank you, DC. So here is the DLC for WWE 2K25, which has been revealed. And here we go. So the New Wave pack in May 2025, we get the Machine Guns. We get Julia, we get Stephanie Vaquer, and a special celebrity guest to be announced. In June, we get the Duncan Destruction pack of Abyss, great.
Just take my money. Look, just take my money.
Abyss, the Great Khali, and 3 NBA stars to be announced.
I mean, I could do without the Great Khali, but hey, you know what? Hey,
the Fearless pack in July.
As long as I get the Punjabi prison match, I'm perfectly fine.
Yes, the Fearless pack in July. Jordan Grace, Penta. A celebrity guest, special celebrity guest to be announced. Bull Nakano, rightfully deserved, the Hall of Famer. And out of all people, New Jack. They put New Jack in the video game. Yes.
New Jack.
New Jack.
New Jack.
Of all the ECW guys, not Sabu, not Tommy Dreamer, not Ray. Sandman's already in it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
New Jack? Like...
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
but if you
meme
go
out
back
there-
to all the other games, Tommy Dreamer is actually in a couple of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's in a couple,
I'm not
yeah, he's in a
saying like it's not like you can't create a Tommy Dreamer in the game
Yeah.
because
Right.
usually
but I'm saying like you'll find everybody's move sets in there. So
Yeah.
I mean copy and paste from year to year. You know, it might be Sven Lundgren for all you know that all of a sudden his name's Tommy Dreamer for all we know. I don't know. I'm just
I'm curious to how are they going to do New Jack's entrance? Because that dude came out with a shopping cart full of weapons.
New Jack, you won't fuck with New Jack. I'm curious to see how.
Oh, but hey, on the plus side, now we can finally recreate the mass transit incident.
Oh boy, that boy went there. That boy went there.
Wow. You know what? That's
Shocker
it. I'm done.
So far,
All right, I gotta go.
Abyss.
I know Abyss is a great one. I mean, you get to see Abyss as the character instead of just.
I mean, you give me Abyss and AJ Styles. No, you give me Abyss and Kurt Angle.
Hell yes.
Hell to the yes. Lethal Lockdown. Give me the Monsters Ball.
The two celebrity that they mentioned, rumored names are I Show
Aretha
Speed,
Franklin?
which makes sense. I
Ray
Show
Charles.
Wow. I Show Speed. Yes, that makes
and
sense.
supposedly Jake Paul.
Oh, all right. Okay.
But
So
I Show Speed, you know, hey, now we can just recreate that
Bob
spear
Uecker?
over and over again.
Bob Euchre. Nice.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Hey. So the Attitude Era. Sharon! The Attitude Era.
His weapon of choice would be a bat.
I like your style.
And
Gonna
not a
bite the head
baseball
off and
bat.
throw it at him.
And
So-
spit it at him like Carlito in the apple.
Jesus. So the Attitude Era Superstars pack for September. D'Lo Brown, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Victoria, and Mark Henry. About time for Victoria. Also getting her praise as well. The Saturday Night's main event pack for November. Jesse the Body Ventura, Mr. Wonderful, Tito Santana, Junkyard Dog, and Sid Justice. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, those are some really
Sid,
cool
I
names.
love it. I love it. Mr. Edney, I love it.
And can we just put this out there because we mentioned a lot of legends. So far in the Hall of Fame, we have Triple H, Michelle McCool, and the latest inductee, Cody Rhodes, surprised him along with DDP. The total package, Lex Luger's in the Hall of Fame. Let's go, baby.
I'm stoked for it. And
I
I
know.
think it'll be Sting.
I am so inspired by that man and everything that he's doing. Follow Diamond Dallas Page, follow DDP Yoga. That what he does for a lot of people. Let's forget the athletes that he works with. I mean, let's forget that he works with Stone Cold. Let's forget that he works with Lex Luger, who is now walking. I mean, he worked with Butterbean. He worked with Jake the Snake Roberts. The list can go on and on, but forget that part. Like, you look at the individuals that he's helped that are not famous, who had crippling back problems, leg problems, walking problems, just standing in general. That DDP Yoga is amazing. And shout out to Diamond Dallas Page for what he does. We did an interview with specifically the dead man, not me, the other dead man, my namesake. And he told the story, like him and Taker and Jake were specifically telling him, like, dude, you may have had a good wrestling career, but post wrestling, dude, you are above and beyond so much. You have helped so many people, and you've inspired other people to help other people, is what they were trying to get at with the conversation. And dude, I shout out to DDP.
Absolutely.
You're awesome.
And I'll say it, like,
I will honestly say, as great as your career turned out to be, and as much as you got over, I think the second act may be your greatest. Yes. And I'm not in any way.
No, I get
I hope you totally. I hope you totally understand where
No,
I'm
I
going
do.
because of what you are doing for people that have no hope in a lot of cases. What I've seen. and to instill in them a hope and an understanding that there is a different way and a better way, and have them believe themselves and get up out of wheelchairs and off of canes and do things that they thought would, dude. I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, selling out arenas and getting all of the fanfare is great, but to be able to do that and do it with the passion, like that's what comes across to me with you, is your passion to doing that. Like, you just don't do that unless you there's a good human being in there. Not good isn't even the right word. It's phenomenal to watch. And I don't know that I've ever even said these things to you, but watching DDP from the distance and all the things that you do post ring,
right,
has been, I'm as, if not more, impressed with that than anything else. And I know and getting filled in on a lot of your story has been fun, and it's impressive to see what you did, especially at a late stage. But I'm telling you, man, what you're doing right now and the lives and the people that you're changing and affecting, dude, that'll be your legacy.
Even when I was watching WCW as a kid, I was a DDP fan.
Yep.
And I still say one of the most underrated talents out there. And we know Vince had an aversion to putting over WCW guys, but man, was DDP wasted in WWE.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the 1 year he was there with the Stalker gimmick, the Alliance, the Positively DDP with Christian, and the WrestleMania 18 match,
and that's not a bad thing.
That's
a good thing.
That's my thing too.
Like, smile.
That, yes. But that's the thing too. I mean, with Lex Luger, I also have to put into fruition. I know he has mentioned he wants Sting to induct him. I would love that.
I think they'll do it.
I think he should, and I think now that the other regime isn't here anymore, I honestly think Paul will reach out to Steven himself and call Steve and be like, "Hey, look, Lex wants you here. I need you to come and induct this man. And I believe you're the only one who can do it."
Right.
And Steve would be right there. Sting. I call him Steve. His name's Sting, but Steve Orton, we know the real name, but still Sting would be there in a heartbeat because Lex is one of his best friends. So,
and here's the other thing. People are saying, "Oh, well, Sting's still technically under AEW contract." Well, let me point something out for that. Billy Gunn is going to be in WWE 2K25.
Yep.
Jake the Snake is in WWE 2K25.
Yep.
The Big Show.
The Big Show.
Tony Khan, above all else, say what you want about him, he's a wrestling fan.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure if Sting went to him and just said, "Hey, Lex asked me to induct him into the Hall of Fame," I would bet you, I'm 99.9% sure Tony would be like, "Okay, it's fine. Go ahead, do it."
It's Sting.
It's Sting.
Oh, sorry. It's Sting.
It's Steve.
God.
It's Steve.
Not Tony Schiavone.
I will say this: the people on the IWC who have been torn because the people have been crapping that Lex is going in because of the Miss Elizabeth thing, and I'm like, y'all got to stop right now. Like y'all,
we're not basing this on what he did in WWE. No. We're not basing it again. We're not basing everything that his WWE run, that was a Vince issue. Yep. That was everything that Vince fucked up and fumbled. We can name the WrestleMania. We can name what happened and why he didn't put him over, and we could end it right there. Right. But when you look at his NWA, WCW career, that man was basically a flag bearer for WCW.
Yep.
And much like Sting, much like Ric Flair. But although Ric Flair came to WWE, won a title, but that's not here nor there. I'm saying really the flag bearer for WCW, its pillars are literally Lex Luger, Sting, Ric Flair. Those are 3 of the 4 that I believe are pillars in that company.
And beyond that, like I have seen people say, well, if they're gonna put him in, they should put in Chris Benoit. No. I'll say it because Lex Luger, as even he has apologized for what he has done. He didn't kill.
He did not kill this Elizabeth.
Did he help facilitate what happened with the narcotics and the drugs? Yes, and he has owned it.
Yes.
He didn't kill her. He didn't kill his wife and son. Who did that? Benoit.
Yeah.
I have my own opinion about Chris Benoit, but
okay, fair enough, Paul. Okay, fair enough. But the point is, I'll pay you. Point is, Lex Luger didn't kill her, so stop it. That's all I'm saying. That was my point on that.
Just
stop. So I will add to the next point of this show with the Hall of Fame, rumored as well. Besides Lex Luger, the Natural Disasters. I'm cool with Typhoon and
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
John Tenta deserves to be in that Hall of Fame. And I can tell you why. And forget that the earthquake gimmick, because whether he was a face or whether he was a heel in WCW or WWF, that man worked his ass off. I beg you to go watch some of the matches he had with Bam Bam Bigelow. Like, that man can work. And I don't give a shit how big 400 pounds is to you. But, man, for that man to go out there and work with, especially Bam Bam Bigelow, who was also towering, who was also a short guy at 500 or at 400 pounds. That man was agile like a motherfucker. Yes, we can name, Vader as another guy who was a big man that was agile. They went out there and they worked. Dude is very much deserving, of being in there. Shark.
He was Golga.
Yes. I mean, even Frank Ottman deserves it. Shockmaster, Typhoon, Tugboat, the whole 9. Like, he deserves it.
No, he does too. I mean, but as a tag team, they were tag team champions twice.
Fred.
The fact is that I get what Triple H is doing now. He is literally bringing back a lot of the people. And I wish John was still here with us, because God, man, he would probably be on that mic longer than a lot of the people who we've seen on in this company.
Like Mr. T. Remember that one?
Oh God,
I gotta talk about my mama.
Yes.
No, not like Mr. T. God forbid, not like Mr. T. But I mean, that man has seen so many things, has been through so many eras, like you, and with various companies. But that man is very much deserving of being in there.
And I will add to that. People don't realize how young he was.
Yeah.
Like, when he was in the WWF in his heyday, he was only like in his early to mid 20s. Like, when he passed, I think he was like maybe 44.
He was in like his early 40s, yeah.
He was young.
That's the bad part, man, is that he was still.
I think it was pancreatic cancer, right?
I can't even remember. But I think that's it.
He had cancer of some sort.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm excited to see Fred Ottman's speech. I'm excited to hear everybody's speech, and the Hall of Fame is really cooking, so to speak. And I mean, the other point I'd like to make to add to that, 2 other things before we get into NXT and the main course, the John Cena heel turn. Miro and CJ Perry are back together, and they're going to renew their wedding vows.
But you know what? This was after. You know what? I think what happened is when I think it's his grandfather that passed away.
Hers.
Or her grandfather that passed away. Miro was there, and sometimes that reworks a lot of things. Sometimes you get into those, you get back, those feelings that you may have lost before. You don't have to have a wrestling company. Nothing involves wrestling. It's just 2 people being 2 people.
You remember why you fell in love with the person.
Yeah, and then thank you. And then you remember why you fell in love with them. And it's like, it's beautiful. I love it, and I'm happy for them. Congratulations, and I really hope you guys, work everything out and then make everything for your future together blissful as possible, man.
And Can we just
Oh,
have
best advice I
Lana
can
is
give:
best.
don't go to
Lana
bed.
number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one. So
Go ahead with that.
if the rumors of Miro coming back to WWE are true,
Yeah.
does that mean we get Rusev Day and Lana Day?
Yes.
Yes. So what?
Look, you know what?
And also,
Different
there was a
regime.
rumor.
Different
that
regime.
Matthew Revwall is leaving TNA. So,
Hey,
can we Triple H can you make this happen for us? I'm not asking a lot. Give me Rusev Day.
Yeah,
I
we're
wanna-
not asking a whole lot.
whole lot.
We're asking for a lot, but not a
Not a
whole.
whole lot.
because Rusev Day is every day.
Hell to the yeah, man. Alrighty, but yes, congratulations
Lana
to
is the best. Lana number one.
congratulations to both Miro and Lana on their renewing their vows and everything and getting back together, and love and happiness to both of them. Now we will put this into the forefront here. So ESPN, we got some new shows coming. Stephanie McMahon is going to have her series Stephanie's Places, the episode order, with the first one being CM Punk on March 26th, April 2nd featuring Cody Rhodes, April 9th featuring Rhea Ripley, April 16th featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin, April 23rd featuring Charlotte Flair, the 30th Roman Reigns, Pat McAfee on May 7th, May 14th The Undertaker, May 21st Triple H, and May 28th John Cena. And this is just some of the photos of what we're going to see on Stephanie's Place.
Maybe she'll be able to see him.
Oh, hey now. I am looking forward to this. There's a lot of great guests on this, and Stephanie getting her own platform is awesome to see.
Yeah,
It's great. Go
I
for
like
it.
her.
No, I was gonna say it's great that she has a lot of people that she's obviously had, relationships with for a while. This isn't like anybody new, off of the, any of the young crowd, any of the younger wrestlers, but at least, her first season, obviously, if this is her first season, she has a lot of great names on there, and she can, talk about the history with CM Punk. She could talk about, the history with John whipping her ass in the middle of the ring. Her basically telling her dad, let him do what he's gonna do, and that whole backstage segment with him rapping as Vanilla Ice, with the hair and everything and the whole outfit, it was solidified who he was, and I know a lot of people say, he wasn't really a heel, but he had those heelish, characteristics back then, and he was a heel, not a full-blown heel like he is now, but we had gotten to see a lot of that. But she gets Mark, she gets the Undertaker, she gets Charlotte, she gets Roman, and she gets Roman on a damn yacht.
Yeah, that too.
Anyway, she has a lot of great guests. Hopefully everybody gets to check her out because it's Stephanie. She was always the good McMahon.
Absolutely. And I mean, looking at this guest list,
She just seems like a genuinely good person. Like she seems like that, the cool mom, like the kind of person that she just seems like she's a good person. Like
the one that sang "Bust a Move" in the car karaoke and singing.
Yeah, but if you look at her dad's not there. Her dad isn't there. She's not under that thumb of her dad. So we get to see that side of her, and it's
real her.
Excellent. The real her. And if her being on Jimmy Fallon and her and Triple H singing Moana. Them being in carpool karaoke, and singing what they sang, bust a move in the car, we get to see that part of her, and this is gonna be just about the same, I hope.
Oh, agreed, man. And I mean, there's a lot.
Hopefully, she lets John whoop that ass again. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Paul.
No, still one of my favorite moments of SmackDown in 2003. That Orlando Magic jersey, just
for real.
Hell yeah,
for real.
For
you
real?
let me for real?
Really? Let me think about it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Are you sure you want to do it? Hell yeah. I would have too. So I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? All right. Next subject, man.
All right.
Let's get into this. Let's get into this, John Cena. You know what I'm
Let's get
saying?
into the meat and potatoes of this show. Well, before we
There's potatoes.
Hey, well,
hey, I'm Irish here, so you know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I always got potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You got to have that corned beef and cabbage. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's coming Monday.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm flying all the way to go to DC's house. So that's what I'm doing.
I'll have the Guinness ready.
Damn. Okay, John.
Sure. So, well, one thing, NXT, because
NXT first. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. So this week's NXT from the theater at Madison Square Garden. Oh my God! Let's just put it to the forefront. Obafemi and Moose fucking delivered. Obafemi and Moose fucking beat the crap out of me.
Say it. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yes. These two, the athleticism, the power moves, Oba winning by the skin of his teeth. They beat the crap out of each other. There was not a bad match on the show.
I want a fucking trilogy.
Me too.
I don't want just a one-off. I want these guys to beat the shit out of each other again. And at one point in time, I really want Moose to fucking win the NXT title because, man, that guy was so deserving of that huge spotlight in MSG of all places. You know, it was beautiful. DC, tell me what you thought of this. Big meaty men slapping meat.
You know what? It just solidified what I have been saying for a while now. Obafemi is the future.
Yep.
Like, he is a guy, he's 26 years old.
Over.
You had that backstage segment where with him and The Undertaker, and Taker's even said he won't do random shows with just anybody.
Protect your yard. And
you had him basically say, this is your yard now. Defend your yard.
Yep.
And Obafemi hasn't been doing this very long, but he has gotten over. The crowd loves him. And he never had an official face turn. It just happened naturally.
Right. He's someone who only had like a few matches. He was in the breakout tournament. He beats Dragon Lee for the North American title, holds that North American title, and just absolutely dominates. Then he's the NXT champion now. The man is just, for someone like we mentioned, so young, who's only had a handful of matches, they've established what the future is, and the future is Obafemi. And I'm going to say right now, Javon Evans and Ethan Page are out of their goddamn minds. That friggin' cutter with the chair over his head and Ethan Page going face first. The dive over the rope onto the table, the cutter through the table. Those two, that was a way to cap off a feud. But then, as a lot of people call them, the Temu Shield came out. They beat the crap out of Javon Evans.
And Ethan Page is like, bye.
Bye. Do you like what we're doing now with Dion Lennox and the rest of the gang just attacking Javon Evans? They're back because we haven't seen them for a little bit now.
Well, we haven't seen the Wyatt Six, but still, you know, that's a whole nother story. But we'll get to that one another day. But right now, I think, you know what? If you're gonna kind of do like the Shield-esque, kind of faction better than you did with Retribution, you know, I would much rather it be that kind of. I guess it's more of a Retribution, not so much of a Shield, because there are how many members are in it.
Yeah, there's 4.
But I would like to think, and I would like to see at some point in time, all these people get get in front of the camera, get on the mic, start talking about everything that you're doing, why you're doing it, you know, and let people know that you're here. You know, let people know that you're out here to come out here and whoop somebody ass, or you are going to come out here and do what you need to do. And then put them in title pictures, put them in title matches, put them in matches to get them elevated to that stature. Hell, I would like to see one of them go up against Obafemi. Hell, if not Sean Spears, you know, for the North American title. I just want to see them do something and it work. And it work with the crowd, whether they love them or whether they hate them.
I think for me too, you look at what we had with the Hardy Boys, who beat Fraxium, and I want to see them go for the NXT tag titles now, since they technically beat the NXT tag champs. I'm enjoying the TNA relationship.
Deliver?
Hell yes, that's where I was going to go. Stand and deliver. Roxanne and Jordan Grace delivered. Jordan Grace getting her win back. again, guys, if you've not seen NXT, and we say this, the crowd was hyped. It was the proverbial New York crowd. When Trick Williams came out and attacked Eddie Thorpe, they were hyped. When Trick Williams said, fuck that, the freaking promo, and they whooped that trick that he did to Eddie Thorpe. And then we get to Stephanie and Julia. Stephanie Vaquer is now the women's North American, the women's champion, the unified champion. Julia, do what you need to do. Get your surgery, get your rest, get your injury taken care of.
And the base, I guess, is
yes.
Too.
But Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, man, I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed it, and Stephanie Vaquer getting the win. Dan, go first.
And first of all, you said it got us hyped. Well, and when we get hype, we stay hyped.
Thank you, Mojo.
I thought it was a solid show, and I think more people need to watch NXT.
And we say it every week. We say it every week.
Watch the
Watch NXT. Look, and I'll reiterate everything that you guys said. Julia, go get rest. Go get rested. Get some well-deserved rest and heal. Whatever's ailing you, heal. If you're gonna have surgery, but come back stronger, better, faster. That's all I gotta say. And this was an excellent show. For being a CW show, for being on the CW on a network show, this was an excellent show. They stacked it up.
Felt like a takeover, like the old takeovers used to be.
Yeah, it really did. It really felt like a takeover. And I liked the little segment with Bully Ray and freaking and Axiom. That was pretty funny. And Nathan Frazier. That was pretty funny.
Devon would say that, friggin' Axiom saying testify.
Gave him glasses and everything. That was pretty funny.
The backstage segment between Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. You don't go here.
We'll go here. It's what we do with outsiders. For his first feud to be with Ethan Page, I'm for that, number one. But number two, guys can talk, they can wrestle. Ricky Saints is wrestling Rich
and they're
Holland.
Good friends.
And they're good friends. And we got him and Rich Holland next week. That's a good first win for Ricky and the solo start. And then we get right into Ethan Page. Again, this is number one, showing you how to do stars. And this is also number two, fuck you, Tony. That's literally what they're saying. This is the big F you to Tony Khan. Literally what it is.
What it's going to end up leading to is I would love to see both of them be champions. Forget it. Not tag team, but I mean, if Ethan Page wins North American, if Ricky wins the world title, I'm just saying that those could be possibilities to where you're just literally saying "fuck you, Tony," because there are stars here.
The big "fuck you" to Tony is signed to WWE if he hasn't already. Good old Ray Phoenix.
Oh well, we'll see when we get to that. And Chad Gable and his first of all, Chad Gable doing gracias this week when the friggin'
hey, we don't know that was Chad Gable.
It was Chad Gable.
We don't know that.
Don't know that.
And the fact that you would insinuate that, Michael, how dare you?
How dare I? I know. I'm sorry, but yes, give me the Lucha Brothers and friggin' Ray against American Made, and I'm a happy camper. And Kaiser and Pete Dunne, the whole nine. It's gonna be glorious, guys.
Good old Peter Dune.
Honestly,
we always get multi-man matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Why not do a multi-man tag match?
I'm for it. I mean, there's ways to execute it. So we shall see.
Well, I think that the world title, the tag team, the WWE tag team titles are going to be up in a ladder match. So
yeah,
that's just my theory for WrestleMania, and I believe if it happens, hey, that'll be awesome.
Give me Pretty Deadly.
Give me Pretty Deadly. Give me Motor City Machine Guns. Give me Street Profits.
Yep.
I just want to see the action of them in the ring together.
And give us GOD.
Yeah, there you go. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa back.
That would be back too. If he gets back in time, then yeah.
Or
he's supposed to be. Tonga Loa, supposedly, they're thinking he's going to be ready like first week in April.
Well, now we shall see. But someone who we can see. Someone who we can see. So Yes. So John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber thanks to Seth Rollins curb stomping, passing out to the STF. Cody comes out. Rock comes out. of course, hey Rock, go fuck yourself, and everybody's cheering, and then John Cena, and of course and then low blow, John Cena for the first time in 22 years is a heel, beats him with the chain. Travis Scott's a dumbass and hits Cody for real.
The watch.
And the watch. Everything. This whole thing was symbolic. And again, my only gripe was the Travis Scott thing, but this was so well done. And the fact that we got John Cena turning heel, I thought it was executed perfectly. We get Cody versus John. John's a heel in his final run. Paul, let you start on this one. Go ahead with the John Cena heel turn and where we can go to WrestleMania.
It was executed like no other because everybody is trying to compare Hulk Hogan's heel turn to John Cena, to whether John's was better or whether Hogan's was better.
Right.
I think was Hogan's very much different, and did it change the landscape of wrestling?
Yeah.
Yes. In that aspect, yes, it changed wrestling, but it also boasted WCW, and it made WWE, WWF do a quick pivot to something different because they knew that they had lost 83 weeks in a row to WCW, and they knew they needed to do something different. Hence, the Attitude Era was pretty much born, I guess if you really want to theoretically want to look at it. This heel turn was not what anybody expected. We thought it was either going to be Rollins. We thought it was either going to be Punk. Nobody thought Cena.
Yeah.
But if you start going back at the seeds, you look at the seeds that were planted. You go back to the Netflix premiere. You listen to John's promo. No, I dare say it. You go back to last year in France when he was out there in the middle of the arena. Oh no, it was in London, wasn't it?
Yeah, London for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, for Money in the Bank. And he announced that next year was going to be his last run, and he was going to do this. He was going to do a whole calendar year. He was going to hit up a bunch of cities and blah, blah, blah. Seeds were planted then, and you listen to what he said. Come to the premiere of Netflix on Raw on Netflix. You hear him talking about it. The promo after losing out at Royal Rumble, what he said, I am entering Elimination Chamber. I don't have to qualify. I am inserting myself in Elimination Chamber. And he had every right to do that. Pretty much like Rollins said, he had every right to do it. CM Punk said he had every right to do it because of his tenure in the company. But did anybody say, hey, guess what? This was going to happen? Hell no.
No.
It was John fucking Cena, the guy that has done more Make-A-Wishes for anybody in ever.
And he did a Make-A-Wish before the Chamber.
He did a Make-A-Wish before he went out. Chamber, and then he said, Toma.
Yeah, there you go. That makes it even funnier that he did a Make-A-Wish before he went out and turned heel. But
he made sure he got one in before he decided to turn heel.
Absolutely. But
I'd do one more.
Yes, and the best for me, not even was that, like you mentioned, the watch and the whole attack and the bloodiness and everything, but the fact that he just goes into the friggin' press room, drops the mic, and walks out, that solidified it for me, and I love that. But the question here is, Cody delivered the whole, John, you want some, come get some. He did the great promo. He's done the lines. It's Cody, it's John. Cody's the new babyface, John Cena.
Well,
Paul, I'm going to mention it to you.
I think you're missing.
What?
You're not addressing this. So we had seen videos on social media of kids visibly upset.
Oh, the kids crying, yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, God, how cool would it be to see John Cena turn one last time?
Right.
But we all thought there's no way.
No.
Even with Vince gone, and I figured with all the Make-A-Wish, there's no way in hell they would do it. And it was said that they initially pitched the idea to Cody, but for whatever reason, and I think they made the right call here, but what this also did, this made Cody an even more sympathetic babyface.
Oh, yeah.
And it got people talking to where we all wanted it to happen. We wanted Cena to turn, but we all just had accepted it, and it's not going to happen. but that it did. This, to me, and like you mentioned, comparing it to Hogan's, and is it similar? Yes. But it's also different in that, people were already booing Hogan while he was still in WWF
He was
at the
still a
time.
babyface, yeah.
It was happening even back then. But Cena was always the company guy. People were just like, people that had booed him for years were saying, we're starting to be like, yeah, I kind of like him. He's, good guy. But now, this is a darker John Cena. And as a fan, I am so excited to see where this goes.
Same. I mean, to add to your point, like, I think it's different, and Paul said this too as well, and I'll include you both in this. Hulk Hogan, for its time in 96, where he dropped the leg on Savage and joined the NWO at the Bash at the Beach, like, that for its time was great because Hulk Hogan was a babyface for over 13, 14 years.
He joined the Outsiders because they hadn't already had the NWO name until after.
Thank you.
So he was joining the Outsiders.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
The red and yellow ran its course.
Oh yeah.
And we all knew that. We had already known that there were so many people that had grown tired of it. That's why he was getting booed in WCW.
It was the same shtick.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing he's had since 1984.
Right.
It's the same shtick. And people grew tired of it. So you're already 10 years, you ran it into the ground for 10 years. Or after so many years, and then you left WWF to go to WCW. That red and yellow ran its course, and people were happy to see you there, yes. But they wanted a different Hulk Hogan, and it wasn't until that moment where it changed who, in a lot of people's eyes, changed that era of wrestling. And I've said it, like it was 83 weeks. It was WWF having to flip the script and change its direction of what it was doing and became pretty much ECW. Sorry to say, that's what it was.
I'm right there with you. And I mean, I think for me, the John Cena one is bigger in my eyes just a little bit. Is just because in this day and current era, the hustle, loyalty, respect, the Make-A-Wish, everything that John Cena was. I mean, yes, he was a heel for a year with the basic Thugonomics, but you never thought you'd see it. And also just the fact that, like you mentioned, like Dan mentioned, the darker Cena, the Make-A-Wish guy, the mainstream media guy, the movie, and everybody, like you mentioned, started liking him. It's bigger because we never would have thought to see this. I mean, with Hulk Hogan for its time, 90s, yes, but current day and current present time, this is probably one of the biggest doggone heel turns ever.
What happened after Hogan did the leg drop?
Right.
What happened after Hogan did the leg drop onto Savage, and then he stood in the ring, he did a long-ass promo.
And the garbage.
And the garbage being thrown at them and whatnot. What did John Cena do? Nothing.
He left.
He left.
He literally beat the shit out of Cody, went into the presser, got up, dropped the mic down, and left. That's exactly what he did.
To filming a movie.
Have we heard from him since? No. Will we? Monday.
Yep.
We will hear from him in Brussels. But my point is that he didn't have to say anything because he didn't need to explain himself. Not yet anyway. Because he's going to get asked the questions. Hogan, on the other hand, decided to come out and say, well, I'm joining the Outsiders. We're joining, and we're the new world order, baby. Yeah, it changed, but I still think Cena, from the aspect of being that legit 20-year good guy.
Yep.
Make-A-Wish. How many has Hogan done? Probably on a handful.
Yeah.
That many. Probably on a handful. That many.
We just wish he'd go away.
Thank you. I was exactly what I was thinking. See? Great minds think alike.
That's my Make-A-Wish. I want him to just go away.
I want him to go away.
But at the end of the day,
beer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and then at the end of the day, it has to be. We have to look at them in different perspectives.
Yeah.
Now I ask really quickly: do we have John Cena win his 17th title at WrestleMania? Or do you have Cody beat him? Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but I think for me, if you want to really do a definitive run before John Cena turns babyface again, I would love to see him just have that title one more time, but as a heel. I think it's
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you're going to stick to this heel persona, he has to win in a heel way.
Yes.
A la Eddie Guerrero. I gotta lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. And I just want to see him win it. And if he loses it a month or 2 months, 3 months later, hey, I'm perfectly fine with it. If it gets all the way to SummerSlam, I'm perfectly fine with it. Hey, if it gets past Money in the Bank and somebody cashes in on it, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I would love for him to go back to being a face. I only think that this is a brief run. I think somebody's going to end up screwing him over, and that what's going to happen is that you're going to go from being a heel back to a face, and everybody's going to be like, I love him again. You have to give him that good guy, bad guy, good guy feel like we see in movies all the time.
Can we just get him and Randy Orton one more time, but this time Randy Orton as the babyface and Cena as the heel? Like the role.
I will love that. Oh my God, I would fucking love that. Yep. You know what? And I think that should be his final match.
I'm right there with you. Everybody's saying Randy Orton should be the final match. Now, Dan, what do you think? Cena wins at WrestleMania?
I think honestly, I would put Cena and Randy, or not Cena and Randy, Cena and Cody night one.
Okay.
And because you can't end the show on a negative note. WrestleMania, I would do that, and I would have Cody almost get so close. And then this drives Cody to wanting to get it back. There was an interaction last year, if you remember, when they did that presser and they had Rock getting in Triple H's face saying, fix it. Obviously Triple H can't get physical, because of his heart.
Right.
You have him try and get involved in someone and bring out people to try and help Cody. And the promos, I think, are going to be good. I think you almost have to have Randy be the final match and have Randy be a good guy. And here's the thing. You have John Cena call himself a legend, turns around into an RKO. Or first you have Randy shake his hand and said, well, you're a legend. Well, I'm Randy Orton.
Legend killer.
Yep.
I like that. I'd focus that point.
You almost have to. If you don't have him, win the title as a heel, you just have it be like he sold his soul. He was desperate to get that title.
Okay.
I think they could quite possibly do with the same thing that AEW kind of did. Kind of do it a different variation of John winning a world title on his way out.
Yeah.
Maybe we get Royal Rumble. Winner gets a world title match, and then, or they do a tournament, something of the sorts, to where you can kind of get two people who should be in that world title picture match. And if you can go a full calendar year with somebody holding Money in the Bank, somebody cash it in at WrestleMania.
And also, one point to consider, let's say Cena does beat Cody. Everyone says, oh, he'd be the 17-time champion. No, he would be the 18-time world champion. Because still to this day, the undisputed WWE championship is still 2 titles. If you go on to WWE.com, you will see Cody Rhodes is recognized as both the WWE champion and the Universal champion. They've not officially retired the Universal title yet. So
that's crazy. That's a crazy thought. That's a crazy way to think about it.
Time world champion.
Do I dare ask even? Now, we talk about We do talk about him being a heel. The difference in aesthetics and style. Paul has mentioned it. Cue Bad Bad Man. Do you have him come out to the Bad Bad Man theme song? It was a bad man.
No. It's got to be something new.
If he did what he did and he told Chris Van Vliet, if he had already written words for another theme song and he had already had gear ready to go, give me that. If it's just a little updated version of like Bad Bad Man, or if it's a little bit different version of a little bit darker version of, The Time Is Now or something like that, I'd be here for it. But I gotta wait till Monday to see what he comes out to.
We will see when Monday comes. And remember,
wrestling fans, we fucking love this shit. Whether
we're here for it.
Whether it goes our way or not, we are wrestling fans, and we love it. We hate it.
Yep.
We argue about it. We discuss it. But at the end of the day, we're wrestling fans.
And we'll pay you.
And
all right. Well, Michael ain't going to pay me.
Well, Monday, we are going to see Brussels from Belgium there with John Cena and Cody in the same building. 3 p.m. on Netflix, our time, Daniel. And yeah, we can all watch it whenever now since it's got.
I get to watch it at noon.
Hell yeah, man.
I get to have lunch, sit down, have some lunch, and watch me some
Monday Night Raw. So definitely tune in.
I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, anyway.
Definitely tune in to each and every week of the weekly review. Gentlemen, before we close this thing out, and I will start with the RWT Dead Man, not Ted Man. Bringing Paul Morales. Go ahead, man. Promote yourself.
Yeah, of course, you could find me, the Dead Man of RWT, right there. Right there. You can find me, the Dead Man of RWT. But you can find me on X. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Blue Sky, of course. You can find me on YouTube under the same name, the Dead Man of RWT. You go down, scroll all the way up. Look, my link tree is down there. You can find everywhere I'm at. I'm not on Pornhub, unlike Michael over here. Yeah, unlike that guy over there. Don't worry. It's safe for children. Okay, maybe not. At least Michael's little area of the world, maybe a little. Never mind. It's just perverted all over. Anyways, you can find me. You can find my link tree down below. Of course, you can find me on the Dead Man of RWT anywhere, pretty much on any platform, and the RWT Facebook page. In which case, it's down below, and y'all need to follow it
and join it.
Join it.
And join it. Not forget the following, and then you need to follow us on all of our social medias, but follow us, like us, share us. Mr. DC, Daniel Crimmins, my brother from another mother, my Irish brother from another mother. Where can we find you, my brother?
You can find me on the Instagram. Mike will put the link in the description, do all that good stuff. The pundit is doing some slight rebranding, doing some retooling. Me and the TSK boys, we just did a review of Revolution. Fantastic show. And again, y'all check us out. You should be subscribed to Mike's YouTube channel. If you're not, what are you doing? I know we're doing another wrestling roundtable where we will be discussing a Lucha Underground. And with that, Maggle, what do we got cooking?
So, if you want to follow this YouTube channel, like Dan mentioned, it's Mike Larkin 92 for all your favorite shows like the weekly review. Dan and I just did Uncaged. We did the 15-year anniversary of the first episode of NXT, We Are Wild and Young, and our next episode is a two-parter, the WrestleMania 36 Part 1, Night 1. We're going to be watching and talking about that. We have, like we mentioned, weekly review. We mentioned Steve and Mike's show, Uncaged, Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling with my boy Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald, all of our fellow peers for the Wrestling Roundtable for Lucha Underground's coming, LFC podcast. Everything is on the channel. And, of course, go to SteveandMikeShow.com and LFCfights.com and MLarkin92 and MCL92, Larkin_92, MLarkin MBSM Show on Twitters and Instagrams. Everything will be in the description. We appreciate y'all. We really do. Like Paul mentioned, we're all wrestling fans. We love the craft. And we love doing this for you and each and every one of you. So for the RWT Dead Man, Paul Morales, for my boy DC, Daniel Crimmins, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening to the weekly review. And as always, I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. Sound my company, I'll pay you.
Yeah.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
The past is gone. Now's the future.